This podcast is brought to you by Spotlight Branding. Whether your firm only gets a few referrals or it's 100% of your business, you have the opportunity to double your referrals through educational, informative content. The pros at Spotlight Branding can help you create that content through blogging, videos, email newsletters, and more, all designed to help you increase your referrals and attract the kinds of clients you want to work with. Visit spotlightbranding.com/pod to learn more. That's spotlightbranding.com/pod.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Center Stage. I am your host, John Henson, and this week talking about one of the fastest growing social media platforms out there. It may even be the biggest one at this point worldwide in terms of usage, but it's also the future of content and just where content is going in terms of the medium and how people consume it, and that is TikTok. Now, I also know that as this episode airs, the future of the app itself is kind of up in the air, and we are going to kind of talk about that a little bit with our guest today. But in general, a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about today is still going to be very valuable information, because I think the strategy and the way that people are using TikTok is going to be value for whatever happens moving forward in the future. And so joining me this week is someone who has found a lot of success on TikTok with his firm. He's putting out a lot of great content, a lot of good and entertaining, engaging stuff. And that is the Hammer attorney, Darryl Isaacs. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you being.
Yeah. So real quick, just as kind of a little bit of background for people who may not be familiar with you, what kind of law do you practice? Where are you practicing? And where did the Hammer persona come from?
So I practice, my main states is Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio. I do personal injury law, and I've been practicing 30 years. Been on TV probably 25 of the 30 years. And so I'm real used to, putting myself out there. Social media is a great opportunity. And the Hammer basically came from, I've had all kinds of branding and taglines, but years ago I was the heavy hitter. And then I left an ad agency, and I didn't feel like getting into a big lawsuit over it. So I thought, it doesn't matter what I brand, I can brand anything. So I came up with the Kentucky Hammer, which eventually got shortened to the Hammer. And it just stuck, and people seem to like it, and they gravitate toward it. So I run with it.
Awesome. So, all right. So you said you've been practicing for about 30 years, which means you started marketing your firm before social media was really part of any firm's marketing strategy. So what kind of things, especially when social media started, what kind of things was your firm doing on social media before TikTok ever came along?
Well, years ago, we used to do back covers of phone books. We did billboards, really before the internet was the internet. And we've done TV, and TV really kind of made me. And then over the years, as the people's trends changed, you had to adapt with the times. And so billboard or the back covers came away. I used to have 40 of them, and I got my first $1 million case like 20 something years ago from a back cover. But billboards kind of replaced the back cover, and then the internet came, and the internet really leveled the playing field, because all the monster TV firms, like, all across country, I can name them all, but, a lot of us have been on TV 20 plus years. We all built these mega firms, but social media now has equaled the playing field, so to speak, because you can take a 1-2 person shop and they can get cases as if we can. So we all had to adapt. And I don't like social media. I'll be the first to tell you, I think it's a form of bullying. I tell everybody that. And, TikTok and all that's no difference. You see what you're missing out on. Your kids don't get invited to a party, but everybody at the party takes pictures. They're like, why am I not invited? But we attorneys have to adapt, because what happens is our audience is using it. And so we've adapted, and I lead all these groups. I got about 75 firms in my coaching groups. and none of them wanted to do it. I think one was doing really well, and another one kind of got me going. But about a year ago, I did the plunge. I thought, they're right. I got to jump on. It's not comfortable. Everybody tweets, when they go to the bathroom or they do something.
Right.
So I didn't really want to do all that, but I bit the bullet and started doing it. And now we get $1 million cases from it. So
wow.
Everybody needs to be on there. It's effective and it works, but there are certain things you got to do. And depending on what you allow me, I'll share. But you ask questions and I'll answer.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what was kind of that, I guess breaking point for you when you made that decision to join TikTok? I mean, did you have some marketing people in your ear, or was it just, you kind of seeing the landscape and just kind of making that decision on your own?
Well, what happened was I was having one of my mastermind meetings at my place in Florida, and one of the girls in my group, she's, fabulous lawyer, said, "You got to do TikTok." And I'm like, "I hate TikTok." Everybody does these dumb dances. I can't dance. I have no rhythm, can't jump. She goes, "No, you got to do it." So I tried it. One of the commercials I did with the baby got 1 million views on YouTube. I forgot about it. So I just copied that and put it on TikTok, and it got 1,500 views. And I said, "See, it doesn't work for me." And I didn't do it. And then a couple of weeks went by, and, one of my buddies started a bourbon thing, and he's got millions of followers. And he said, "Oh, you're not doing it right." So everybody's a coach. Everybody's saying, "Here's everything you're doing wrong." So I made up my mind. I thought, I'm just going to study it. I study things. And I started looking at lawyers who had done well. And I didn't think they had anything particular that made me want to follow them. The thing people got to realize, attorneys, especially personal injury attorneys, first of all, TikTok doesn't like lawyers. It's not like Facebook. It's hard to get videos approved. And so that's first mistake everybody makes is they come up and say, "I'm a lawyer and, hire me," and yada, yada. That doesn't work. But I started learning the old fashioned way. I put myself out there. I made mistakes. I did the dances. I did everything I didn't want to do. And I think you can tell I didn't believe in it. Yeah. And, I got a few thousand views, this and that. Nothing moved the needle. And one day, and I eventually hired a girl. I'm 59. At the time I was 58. And I hired a young person because we old people, we don't know the younger generation. I mean, I got kids and I try to study them, but they all look at us like we're dinosaurs. So hired a TikTok influencer. She started doing videos, and it started picking up steam, but I didn't like the dances. So one day I just said, "You know what? I'm done. I'm not going to do the dances. I have no rhythm. I'm going to be Darryl. That's the only thing I know how to do. It's the only thing that's worked my whole life. I sell Darryl when I get on TV. I sell it on the billboards. I sell Darryl every day. I'm selling Darryl." And the day I stopped is the day I blew up. Literally. One video we did, she just came in and said, "Hey, what do you want to do?" I said, "I don't care what we do, but I'm not." So she said, "Okay." She opens the door one day, the first time we did this. And I'm eating lunch. And she goes, "Well, I want to videotape." And I said, "Why would anybody care what I'm eating?" She goes, "You said you want to be Darryl. Let's show Darryl." So I was on this health journey. I started losing weight, and she knew about my health journey because I talk about it all the time. I eat every 3 hours. I still do. It's been 14 months. So she comes in, I'm eating, and she's like, "Will you tell everybody what you're doing?" I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm not eating breads, fried foods, and sweets." And she goes, "Well, wait a minute. You're eating croutons." I'm like, "Croutons in the bread?" At the time, I didn't think croutons was a bread. I didn't know what it was, but it wasn't a bread. I mean, in my mind. So she's debating with me, and I thought, we're kind of getting snippety at each other. And then she goes off camera, and she's like, "Darryl, Google it. It's a bread." So I Googled it, and I said, "God, you're right. I feel, the whole world's got to see how stupid I am." And that's what sells is humanness, like, we trial lawyers want to go and we Jerry Spence said, and he's one of my idols, the most powerful person in the room is the one that's the most vulnerable. And that's where I've always been my whole life. I'm not the smartest, the fastest, the tallest, the best, the thinnest, whatever. I mean, I'm never first choice in anything, but I ultimately succeed because I persevere. And that video got like 300,000 views. And then all of a sudden, everybody started commenting on croutons. And you know, next thing you know, I blew up, and then I got people sending me bags of croutons. And but how do I parlay that into cases? Because if I'm watching this, okay, I don't want to listen to you talk about croutons. Tell me how to get cases. So here's what I started doing. I literally, everybody told me TikTok doesn't work for cases. And they say you can't measure. I mean, some of the leading people in the industry, I'm not going to say their names, but they're like, Darryl, you're not showing me analytics. Guess what? I don't have to show you analytics for me to know it's working. I mean, I'm picking up, you know, I've been doing TikTok a year now. And, you know, one day I got 31 new cases. My average is 10 cases a day. Don't tell me it doesn't work. I've gotten over 10 wrongful death cases that I can attribute just to TikTok. So the problem is with lawyers in general is they don't want people to do what they're doing if they find the secret sauce. And there is no secret sauce. Everybody's got to find their own crouton story. People they want to believe in a story. I mean, people don't want, let's think, what's the worst thing about attorneys? A, they're arrogant. B, they're greedy. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I never see myself as an attorney. I see myself as a storyteller, an entertainer, someone to, you know, we've helped 60,000 people get $2 billion, but I don't feel like a lawyer. I feel like I'm a coach. I feel like I'm just helping people. And so what TikTok is doing is it allows me to engage with the audience. But so the number two thing you got to do, you got to be real. You got to be human. And you know, before COVID, have you ever tried to buy a car where you went to a dealership, at least in Louisville, Kentucky, I couldn't get out of my car before salesmen were swarming at my door. You know, we attorneys make the mistake. We get up there and we do ads. Hey, I'm an attorney. If you had a wrongful death, call me, call me, call me. You're advertising your service before they know anything about you. So what you got to do is you first got to get them to know you. Then they got to like you or love you. Then they trust you. Then they might hire you. So don't engage them. Inform them. Let them know what you're about. And that's what I started doing is I just started saying, and you know, a lot of people, because I know TikTok doesn't like lawyers, so I don't even say, hey, I'm a lawyer. I get up and say I'm a hammer. Hopefully it doesn't trigger things. And, you know, I think my following's up to almost 160,000. I think it'd be a lot more, but I think TikTok also, there's different things that they hold you back depending on if you'll pay or boost. But I've had my analytics studied, and the top three things about me is first, they know me as a weight loss because I've lost 80 pounds and everybody follows. Then they know me as fitness. Then they know me as a lawyer, but that's okay because what happens is if they like or love you, then they're going to learn about you. And the number one thing you want people to do when they see your TikTok video, you better have a website because when they Google your name, you want them to go to your website as a 24/7 selling piece and put anything you want them to learn about you. And that's what I do. Now, the one thing that I don't do well, that I'm struggling, maybe you can teach me, maybe some viewers can teach me. I want to convert that 160,000. You mentioned what happens if TikTok closes tomorrow. I do have a backup plan, but I lose that 160,000 unless I can get their data. If I can get their cell phone or their email, then I captured it. That's a challenge. And that's where TikTok, you've got to be careful because you put all your eggs in one basket. So you need to do things what we call engagements. You got to do giveaways like we start giving away T-shirts, and, you know, we've given away 6,000 T-shirts. But guess what? To get a T-shirt, you got to fill out a form. First, you got to give me permission to send videos to you. So there's text charges and, you know, all that robo stuff, class action stuff. Then I want their cell phone, email address. I want to get them to where I can retarget them. Then, you know, then they can give me their information. I'll send them a free T-shirt. So you don't do T-shirt. You can do, you know, some attorneys do tickets to concerts or. But you need to get them to fill out information because TikTok, if the government shuts them down tomorrow, I've lost everything on TikTok. Now, I also do other forms. Every time I post on TikTok, we automatically post on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So there's a lot of things you can do. You don't want to make just TikTok your only source of social media.
Yeah, I love so many things that you said there because it's a lot of what we try to iterate to our clients in terms of being genuine and making that connection with people. It's not about getting up there and making constant ads with your content. It's about breaking down those barriers, because like you said, like people have these sort of preconceived notions about lawyers, about being arrogant or just looking to get a big paycheck, where it's like, no, you guys are human. You have other interests, your fitness journey that you talk about, just so many different elements of it that create a really good presence on social media. The other thing, is are you just doing the health stuff on your channel, or are you creating other kinds of content? I know you said you don't do the dances, and we tell people you don't have to do that, but what other stuff are you doing?
I'm doing fitness. Today I did a video of, I've had 12 surgeries since my car wreck where I got hit by a car in 2015. So I've had 3 knee surgeries, 2 knee revisions. Today I was doing leg curls with 100 pounds, and people seem to be inspired by my workout videos, even though I'm still not where I want to be. I've lost 80 pounds, but if I can do it, anybody in America can do it. So I posted on Instagram, which automatically goes to my Facebook. And then I'm going to have Claudia do my TikTok. I don't know how to do all the ramifications of TikTok. I just shoot them and send them. Yeah. But no, I do. I want to be known for weight loss. I want to be known for fitness. I mean, I want to be known for the law. But again, think about all, here's what I always tell people. I don't care who you are, what type of law you do, we're all entrepreneurs at the end of the day. We all went to law school. We want everybody to hire us. Think about your best selling point. Like right now, I could ask you, I don't know if you're married or not, if you got a college degree, none of that stuff. But at some point in your life, you had to sell yourself to get in school, to get in college, to get a spouse, to get a partner, to get a job, whatever you do, you had to sell yourself. We all have to sell ourselves. So what's the one thing what triggers for each of us could be different? But I think what I've learned over the years, in my 30 years, first of all, people love people that help others. That's the number one thing. If you are willing to help help others. I always, Zig Ziglar is one of my role models. When I was flunking the bar twice, I go, God, I can't do it. And I'm listening to him, and he's like, I thought he's talking to me, even though he's been dead forever. I listen to his tapes. He's like, you can get anything in this world if you help enough people get what they want. So what can I give you that helps you, but also helps me in return? Maybe I have a special gift that you want, and I'm going to share it with you. And so for me, I've always been, I have empathy, and I love people, and I love helping others. So I help people by showing all my failures. I've failed more than anybody in the world, and I'm not embarrassed. I flunked the bar twice, took me twice. It took me 2 years to get in law school. I work in threes. It took me 3 times to do everything. But that's okay, because nobody is born perfect. You look at Stephon Curry. I've never seen a person get a 3-point off as fast as he does. You think he just started doing that? He's probably shot 100,000 threes. I look at someone like Larry Bird. Everybody said he's slow, he's this and that, but yet he's one of the greatest players ever.
Yeah.
I want to make people better. I want to help people. So anything I can give you, and in return, I learn from you, and then I can help myself. So it's just the number one thing we need to do is, if you serve others, you really serve yourself.
Yeah, I completely agree with all of that. And I think it's a very fundamental mindset shift in terms of kind of what we talked about before, what you mentioned before about how a lot of lawyers on social media, it's just constant advertising. Whereas now, especially, with your approach and just where things are headed, it's all about what kind of value can you give to your audience first, and then let the results come in afterward, and doing all of that. I do want to know, though, how much time do you spend personally creating content, just whether it's just for TikTok or just your social media in general?
Not much. That's the thing. That's the beauty. You don't have to spend a lot of time. I mean, I've got 100 hats that I wear, but today, I did my day. I spent 10 minutes shooting meal prep videos. I spent 1 minute shooting my leg workout, and I've got content. Okay, I'm going to say two things. To answer your question, though, not much. I think
Yeah.
people make it too complicated. They think, oh, I got to do 100. Look, you'd be surprised. You can't shoot 30, 40-minute videos. No one's going to watch it. But what you can do, people like 10, 15 seconds. And the thing about TikTok, and I know you know this because, I know you're onto this, and a lot of people don't. When I lecture, I ask, how many seconds do you have to hook someone in TikTok? And, if everybody raises their hand, no one ever gets it right. You have 2 seconds to hook somebody. 2 seconds decides if they follow you beyond the 2 seconds. A lot of people will look 2, 3 seconds and they turn you off. And guess what? TikTok only shows videos. For a while, I had Sony man show because 85% of the people, I engaged them. Some of my videos that got millions, they were over a minute long. I can't believe anybody would watch me for a minute. I'm blown away. But you got to have 2 seconds to hook them. So now I would tell people less is better. Go if you're not comfortable, because no one's comfortable shooting beginning. I sucked in the beginning. I probably still suck at it, but I'm comfortable. I've always been comfortable being uncomfortable because, first of all, early on when I decided to go on TV, there were 30 attorneys on TV when I went. Everybody did the same thing. Everybody stood in front of law books, and everybody did this and that. Look, everybody knows to be a lawyer, they assume you read the books. I didn't read a lot. I did more, study guides and this and that. But I don't want to be like everybody else. I think you got to be different. If you see 30 people, go do something else that's different. Stand out, whatever it is. And so for me, I come across, a lot of times I'll dress, if I shoot commercials, sometimes I'm in a suit. I don't want to be in a suit all the time. I don't want to come across as this stuffy, pompous lawyer. I just want to be down to earth, common person like everyone else. Yeah. So, today, I did workout video in a tank top, and the shirt I'm wearing now, it's just a blank Adidas shirt. I shot a meal prep. You gotta stand out and be different. But again, the number one thing everybody can do, everybody's got a special gift. They got to find out what it is. But you got to be human, and you got to have compassion. You just can't get up there and be a know-it-all and arrogant. And, I learned something every day doesn't have to be attorneys, from everybody. And so that's why I do everything. I coach, but in return, I'm going to learn. I guarantee I'm going to learn 3 points doing your show today. And so that's what I do. Every day's a learning opportunity. And, you told me something today I've already learned. I haven't been studying it. I know the government's threatened to take TikTok down because I guess it's owned by the Chinese or whatever.
Right.
But I've never really, is it really going to happen? But if it does, I'm going to be okay because my contingent plan is, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube. I can, TikTok does have the best analytics in the world. Facebook had good ones. TikTok is much better. Mm-hmm. But, the other thing is, I don't know, maybe you know this, maybe you don't. I know the audience probably doesn't because I didn't know this, but everybody thinks Google's the number one search engine in the world. It's not. It's TikTok now. Yep. It's just taken over. And what's happened is the older crowd, and I say the over 60, Facebook dominated them. Well, guess what? They've come to TikToks. They're all addicted. People get addicted to TikTok. They're watching it hours and hours.
Yeah.
I was initially, so I forced myself. I check it 2-3 times a day for a minute or two. Yeah. Sometimes I'll just check my engagements or, do I have a video hitting 1 million? Do I have it hitting 6 figures? It's a little cute, but I do read the comments. And I need someone reading all of them, but I try to respond and I try to go follow randomly. Like if someone says something really kind about me, I will say thank you. And hey, by the way, I'm now following you. A lot of people get a tick out of if I follow them. So if that makes someone's day, I want to make their day.
Yeah. And that's awesome. And regardless of whatever happens, if TikTok does go away, which I don't honestly know that that's going to happen, but if it does, there's going to be a new app that takes its place, or people will go to just Instagram Reels, which is also really popular, or YouTube Shorts, which you said before, you're cross posting to all of these platforms. You're not just focusing on one, which is a fantastic strategy. The final question though that I want to ask before we wrap up here, you mentioned a little bit about the cases that it has brought you. how long did it take for those sorts of things to start happening? Obviously, it was after you started building up a lot of views, but consistently speaking, how many cases are you getting, and how long did it take for you to get to that point?
Well, that's a phenomenal question. I can't give you an exact answer, but what I can tell you is this. I didn't blow up on TikTok till I'd been on it about 3 months of consistent posting. What people do, the biggest mistake they do, is they have high expectations. It's a process. It's a journey. It's not a destination.
Yes.
I don't even think I got kicked on the good algorithms that TikTok had. At least they did last year. Gosh, if someone ever knows how their algorithms work, teach me, because every time I think I know, they change it. I bet you I posted over 100 videos before I picked up steam. Now, in the beginning, I did 2 a day. I would do 3 a day. I can't get Claudia sometimes. I'm not with her a lot. I mean, I'm in and out I'm 2 weeks on the road. I'm 2 weeks in my office in Kentucky, and she's in Kentucky. So I try to shoot a lot. But ideally, I would post 3 times a day. I would do morning, afternoon, and the evening.
Yeah.
And I would do short ones. But once you've posted about 80 to 100, I think then TikTok knows who you are. Because think about it, there's millions of people doing this, and you're competing with everyone. I don't even feel like I compete anymore, because there's some attorneys that have millions of followers. And like I say, I think I'm kind of been pigeonholed a little bit. But I know I've been recognized in 7 different states now for my TikTok when I go travel, and I'm blown away. So I'm on a lot of people's feed. I thought TikTok in the beginning was just showing me in Kentucky and Indiana. But now let me ask you the one question you asked. Let me answer.
Yeah.
I bet you I'm getting 10 to 20 cases a month now.
Wow.
Because like I say, my average is going up, but I can track 12 wrongful deaths for sure. And that didn't happen until about 6 months. But I think the first 3 months, no one knew who I was. But, TV's like that. If you go on TV today, you might have to, when I went on, they said, if they saw your message 7 times, they might hire you. Now it might be 30-something.
Right.
But because think of all the competition.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, because here's the deal. TikTok is a blue ocean. If they don't lose, if the government allows them to stay in, at least in America, I think you got a year before it's going to be like YouTube and Facebook and everything, where everybody's on it. Not everybody's comfortable putting themselves out there. And I know it's hard, because like I say, of the 75 law firms that are in my group, there's only about 5 or 6 that do it. One does it very, very well. And the more you do it, the more you're comfortable. I mean, I'm my whole life, since I was a kid, I've been selling since I was 6 years old. I've been, I spoke in front of 1,000 people when I was a teenager. So I've always been able to speak in front of people, because I'm going to make a mistake. I'm sure I made a mistake already. I probably made 5 mistakes on this show. And, people don't expect us to be perfect. We're humans.
Right.
And I tell everybody coming in, man, I failed. That's why you want me on your show. I don't have all the answers. I figure them out trial by error. But I'm proof that if I can make this work, every attorney in America can make this work. Because I don't have any specials. My special skill is I've got empathy, and I love helping people. But gosh, everybody out there is probably a better attorney, a better this, better in that than me. But I'm not afraid to put myself out there, and you have to be willing to do it. I know a lot of law firms want to get these spokesmen, or they hire these athlete endorsements. And, that works a little bit, but at the end of the day, people got to know you. And if there's something about you that resonates with them, then you got a shot at getting their business. And that's what's worked for me.
Yeah, I love that. And so, kind of the things that I've heard from you today, 1, be yourself, be genuine. 2, it doesn't take a lot of time. You're not spending hours and hours doing it, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And 3, it's a long game, and you can't hyper focus on analytics and ROI, because it's going to be tough to try to really pinpoint where everything came from.
Can I give you 2 more points? You mentioned
Absolutely.
ROI.
Yeah.
Let me say this. If people didn't listen to anything we said. How about this? I know law firms that are paying $5,000 to $7,000 for a lead in California. I'm telling you, do you know what it costs me to get these wrongful death cases on TikTok? Okay,
next to nothing, probably.
It's got to be pennies, and I'll tell you why. Right now, everyone can do what I'm doing. You mentioned it doesn't take much time. Here's what I did, and you all can do. You can go get a young person either in college or in marketing. You can have them come intern for you. Or I went and did a TikTok video looking for someone to help me. And the girl that I chose, Claudia, she had millions of views. And she worked at Walgreens selling makeup. And she's real young. She's real beautiful. And she just works part-time. And she still does makeups and all that. And it's a win-win. But your viewers, if you're an attorney, you maybe put 2 hours a week. Do you not have 2 hours a week to get hundreds of cases? And two, you could go hire someone, like I say, she does all my TikTok every day. And you could pay someone, an attorney could pay someone 10, 15,000 to work part-time to just shoot these. They edit it and they can do it for you, because I don't know how to do all that. So it's minimal, but if you got law firms that buying all these leads and cases and everything, I guarantee you they're paying. I mean, if you buy Google LSA ads, I mean, those are $500-600. They're great, but the TikTok cases are the cheapest in the industry because, again, if I take Claudia's cost, and I don't even count my time because I'm going to do it anyway, it's just pennies on the dollar.
Yeah,
and then I can't tell you how many $1 million cases I've got off TikTok. I mean, again, what's it cost? It probably didn't cost me $20.
Right.
So
yeah,
people need to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So wrapping up here, you've mentioned your coaching group a couple of times. Let everybody know a little bit about that and how they can learn more about that.
I give everybody in the whole America my cell number. It's 502-817-1000. What we got coming up that I'd love to promote is we have an annual summit that last year we had 450 attorneys. We taught them everything we did. And, they pay to come to admission. This year it's in Nashville, Tennessee. And I can get the link with you. We're going to go live in a couple of weeks, but it's August the 24th through the 26th. And I have some great speakers. Last year I had like Ben Crump and Andrew Finkelstein, and I spoke, and all these people. And we taught a lot of what we do, how to get cases, how to build a law firm, how to do social media. I just love helping people, and a lot of network. I put them in touch with different people, but I never do these to promote myself. I mean, I get so much promotion, but I just love to help people. And here's the deal. I mean, the whole world's changing, and social media, whether we like it or not, it's here to stay. It's crazy. And I know a lot of the older tier in my law groups, some said, I'm never getting on social media. I get it, but it's the only way to reach. We try everything on TV, but the under 30 crowd, my daughter's my great example. She's 21 and she watches everything on her cell phone. She watches Netflix on her cell phone. She watches podcasts. She watches movies. I mean, the only time she'll use the TV is maybe to do a video game or when her friends are over, but the whole world has changed. Yeah. So you just got to adapt with the times.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, Darryl, I mean, this has been fantastic. A ton of great insight. I love everything that you shared. And I think that, it's good for our audience to hear it from another lawyer. Cause I think a lot of times, coming from a marketing person, it might begin to fall on deaf ears, but when another lawyer says it, I think a lot of people start to perk up and listen. And so I'll get you out of here on this one. It's our final question here. If you had one final piece of advice for our listeners, what would it be?
Oh, if you serve others, you'll get it more in return. Every day, I'm the most grateful person in the world because, believe me, where I've come from, we live in the greatest country in the world. But I tell everybody, if you want to change the world, be grateful for what you have, even if it's not much, and you can change anything. So I think the day I decided to serve others is one of the best days of my life because that's when I just blew up. So if you serve others, you really ultimately you will get your reward. But That's why it's we help each other. It takes a village. It's not just one person versus the world.
Love it. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Continue to leave ratings and reviews wherever you're consuming the show. And that's it. We'll see you next week. Darryl, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for your time, and it's been an honor.
Thanks for listening. To learn more, go to spotlightbranding.com/centerstage.